real meaning or deeper meaning of awakeness is actually you're all already awake. You're all already aware. You're all already conscious. And that is a real meaning of awakeness. There's nothing more awake than your own awareness, than your own present awareness. Does everyone understand awareness? Or I will ask, you may ask yourself, am I aware? Yeah? Am I aware? Is that a yes? Am I aware? How about you? Am I aware? Am I awake? Am I conscious? It's not important to understand, but just checking into yourself, am I aware? There's nothing more awake than that. Yeah? You may feel lighter and lighter and lighter, and more open, but there's nothing more awake than being aware.
Yeah, this direction.
Good. Yeah. There are various degrees of lightness and openness, but awakeness is awareness. I am already aware, thus I'm already awake. Even if there is heaviness, I'm still awake, I'm still aware. Even if there are many thoughts, I'm still aware. Awareness, it penetrates everything. Penetrates means it can see everything. Yeah, just like the sun can see everything on earth, so to speak, but your own awareness can see everything. Yeah? When you have any thoughts, you see your thoughts. Sometimes, of course, you interact with your thoughts. You also see that you interact with your thoughts, isn't it? And then you catch yourself, oh, I'm interacting too much with my thoughts, I should stop doing that. The awareness is always there. Is always there. And when you feel an emotion, you are aware that you feel the emotion. And sometimes, of course, you feel emotion, you don't like the emotion, but you're aware that you don't like the emotion. Or you're aware that you love this emotion. It's always present, it's always here, it's always awake. And this awareness is yours. You can just ask yourself, am I aware? Yes. It's not something conceptual, it's not something somebody's else, someone's else. It is your own awareness. So we will recognize that it is the single thing that always is present. And sometimes you feel a bit heavier and tired. Sometimes you feel very light in meditation, very open. But the real awakeness is your own awareness. It is always here, always aware, always awake. You may not understand, and you may notice that you're not understanding something. In your awareness, you may notice that you're not understanding something. Or in your own awareness, you may say, I get it totally. I understand everything, I get it totally. You may notice that too. It doesn't matter really. Yeah? That is the real meaning of non-duality. It's a new buzzword. It's a new philosophical interpretation or spiritual contemplation. But the real meaning of it, that you're always aware of everything. And we only clear the path. We only clear the path, and then we gently withdraw our attention from more rigid interactions. We withdraw our attention away from more rigid entanglements, interactions, from more rigid or denser thoughts, from the heavier emotions, from more denser energies. So as we gently withdraw our focus away from these heavier thoughts and heavier emotions and feelings, we become lighter and we come closer more effortlessly to awareness. So awareness is always present, and our focus is usually interacting with certain thoughts, ideas, understanding or not understanding, confusion. You're always interacting with something, with your focus in one way or another. Even if somebody is meditating in peace, you're so immersed in peace, so interacting with peace, and awareness is much lighter, it's more awake. It's more awake than resting in peace. Being in peace is very restful. It's very restful. It's the it's everything is good. When being aware is more light, it's more alive. Yeah? It's more immediate, it's more direct. So therefore, the aim, we can say, is to withdraw your attention away totally into awareness, like to look back into the sun. Yeah? From looking to the clouds to look back into the sun, from interacting with denser energies or thoughts or whatever, to placing your attention to awareness itself. Yeah, and then you realize that the awareness is the only sun, the only light, the only source there is. And you are that. You are that actually. You've always been that, but somehow you interacted with, more denser and heavier stuff. And then since you have been interacting with this denser, heavier stuff for so long, you created a certain bondage. Yeah? So that's why it's a bit difficult to come back to the lightness of awareness, because you got used to the density and heaviness. Just like you might be used to eating meat, and then you say, oh, vegetables, there's no food in it. So you say, it's too light. I can't feel any food in my stomach. So the same way, when, in awareness you may feel nothing at first, because it's way too light. It's just too light, you're more used to something more tangible, like there's something here, object. Awareness, nothing. Yeah, but actually it is everything. So only because you got familiar and you're used to something more solid, rigid, structured, tangible, you assume that only that is real, but if you really check in, it never felt really good, because something was missing. Because you feel too limited or too constricted. Or we may say happiness, it's just, happiness is very light, isn't it? When you're laughing, you're very light. When you're laughing, you can't think and laugh at the same time. If you start thinking, it starts becoming not funny anymore. So when you laugh, you're very light. Yeah? Happiness is lightness, it's easiness. And then the same way awareness is even lighter and easier, because it even notices the spontaneous laugh. It's so direct, immediate, and present, and that it immediately notices and sees everything. Yeah, so we will come to understand that your focus is your tool number one, and then you need to slowly lighten it up, to withdraw from these heavy thoughts and these difficult feelings or whatever. Just withdrawing your focus away. You can retire already. You can already go on holiday. Yeah, just put your focus on holiday. Yeah, that's what we do in the retreat, isn't it? We retreat from objects, from density, from heaviness. We retreat into lightness, into ease, into openness. So that's the real meaning of retirement, of holiday, of awakeness. There's nothing more awake than your own awareness. Even when you dream, you notice that you're dreaming, you notice the environment of your dream. Therefore, awareness is more awake and present than the dream. And even when you feel yourself, it is a feeling of yourself. I feel myself, but you're aware that you're feeling yourself. So awareness is more direct, it's more present. If you feel yourself or not feel yourself, you're aware of both. Yeah, you're aware of both. If you're not feeling yourself, maybe you are resting, for example, then you're usually not feeling yourself so much because you're just resting from feeling yourself, but you're still gently aware. And awareness does not require any effort, because any effort would be effort. Yeah, so you're aware of any effort. You don't need to try to be aware. Yeah, I can say, okay, try to be aware. Yeah, it's an effort. And now try to be not aware. You can't do that. So gently, there is importance to withdraw from the density, from anything heavier than that. So that's the withdrawal process. And then there is a familiarization process with your own self, with your own real self. Not only you're withdrawing from something which you already knew before, but you also need to familiarize with your more real self, with your own awakeness. Yeah, so we do this both things at the same time. Because you need to get to know who you really are. Beyond the feeling of yourself, you are already present. So, familiarizing with your natural present self is equally important. Yeah, it's equally important. And fear is never needed. Yeah, I'll tell you, fear is never needed. And that's why we need to familiarize and to maybe complete the fear or close it down, because fear is never needed. Fear simply says, I don't know. That's what it says. Fear just simply says, I don't know. Or I don't know how, or I don't know, and that's what it is. So therefore we need to familiarize with what is, with what is present. And that's how any fear expires. It's so, in Zen, there is a saying, I have really no idea how this pinky is moving. And any knowledge, any idea is just an idea, is just knowledge. But how this happens, it's the greatest mystery of the universe. And that's the Zen way of looking at things. It means a complete openness. Yeah, no assumption, no label, a complete openness.
This awareness phase was around the mountains.
Yeah, because the mountains are in your awareness.
Yeah. I feel ungrounded.
There's another Zen saying that at first you see the mountains as any regular person. Then you start seeing all kinds of energies and rainbows and, maybe, I don't know, and unicorns jumping on the mountains. And then you see the mountains again. But then these mountains are in your awareness. Yeah, everything is in your awareness. You can tune into any altered perception, into any dimension, into any space and place, and that's what it would be. And then you come back to awareness, which is direct, immediate, and everything is as it is. If any vision arises, that's what it is. If a mountain is here, that's the mountain. But everything is in awareness already. And may I ask all of you how big you are, really? In your own awareness, how big you are. Infinite, yes. Open, boundless. All is present. Yeah. So that's the awakening. That's the awakened way of seeing. And then there is the energetic experience, as you described, like very large, expanded. It's very nice. There can be various sensations. I had experiences being a whole galaxy before, and touching the edges of the universe and touching the other universe, and all sorts of experiences. But the awakened state is in awareness. All is seen, no matter big or small, expanded or contracted. Any experience is in awareness itself. So it has never been anywhere else. Maybe you didn't know that before, and maybe you didn't see that way before, and therefore awakening is awakening to a direct seeing, awakening to the immediate present awareness seeing. Yeah, so it takes time to maybe familiarize. For some of you, it takes time to soften up. For some of you, maybe some of you are still interested in something else. and that's okay too, and as time goes by, the familiarization is necessary, because that is the ultimate happiness. And you want to get the ultimate happiness and not anything less than that. Sometimes you may assume that I'm more happy this way or that way, but as time goes by, you will discover that probably I should still go for the ultimate happiness. Yeah, sometimes people have a certain awakening and then they're very happy, and then they say, that's it, I don't need any teacher, I know everything, I'm going to just enjoy myself from now on. And then they come back in 3 months or 6 months or 2 years and then say, oh, well, life goes on and something happened and it was something else. And I still want that ultimate happiness or that real awakeness. Yeah, so, okay. Yes?
At the beginning, I had the feeling like the energy coming up through the feet and legs, and it was a lot of like inner vision, which then went up, and then later I could feel the heat in the inside of the palm from the right heart or the inner sun. I couldn't see the color there, but it was more the...
Like a heat.
Yeah. And then I also saw the tunnel, but it was not white. First it was more dark, but then I went like a roller coaster ride, like flying through. And in the end, I think then I faded somewhere, so I'm not sure where I was. And then I somewhere ended, I think, when I heard you saying that we were inside the sun, so everything was like orange, red. It was good.
Okay, nice. Yeah, is it the first time you're experiencing like this, seeing things, or you have done in meditation?
No, I've done some meditations with the teacher in London.
Good. Yes, very good. Yes, and the sun is I need to say it's a symbol. Yes, it's a symbol of the pure positive source. Yeah, and it really helps to visualize that we are in the sun, because our sun is actually an amazing source. It is a source of light, of heat, of warmth in this little cozy corner of the galaxy. Yeah, and our sun is actually connected with the source. So sometimes people even feel they are transported into the universal center and so on. So this is why we use this analogy, and it's the most, we may say, a close analogy to how actually the pure positive source feels like. It's bright and warm and very light. Yeah, but ultimately, your own awareness is infinitely bright, because any intensity of the brightness, it would still be within your awareness. That's why it is said that the God or consciousness or source is untouchable. It's ungraspable. Yeah, your own awareness is really untouchable by any thought, by by your focus as such. Yeah, because it's like a movie screen in the cinema. It's not touched by the movie itself. It's not touched by the water, doesn't get wet. The screen doesn't get wet in the movie, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So the screen doesn't burn up when there is a fire, doesn't explode, and then so on. So your awareness, it doesn't get touched by anything. And that's really amazing. It's the most amazing thing, actually. And it's always present. So that's why you become lighter and lighter. You withdraw from anything you can touch or anything tangible, into absolute openness. That's why it's called absolute. Okay.
Well, I felt the light coming through my body, and when you said you were sitting in the sun, I was trying to imagine how I really sit in the sun, and I felt that I really have to let go of that imagination, and after I let go, it just exploded the light in my head, so to say, and I felt that I am the light, so I am the sun or whatever, bright light, the yellow light. And it was hard for me to, to come back to, because I felt so comfy sitting there and being that light. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
It was nice.
Oh, yes.
Being that light.
It sounds nice for sure. Yes. Yes, indeed, indeed. Okay.
I felt like I had no body, and there was a lot of space, and I could see the sun in my body, and I was in the sun, and this feeling of having no body at all, and just I don't know, it was everywhere. I was somewhere here in this area and outside as well. It's kind of nice.
I like the ending, it was kind of nice.
I've never felt like this before, so
Yes.
it's interesting. And on the other hand, I could feel that I was sitting on this chair, moving back out a little bit. Like it was, I don't know, like I was invisible, and I had the feeling that I was, just, I don't know, space or air. I don't know.
Yeah, another quality of awareness is the invisible visibility. Yeah, everything which is visible or invisible is still in awareness as well. Transparent. Yeah, we may say awareness is transparent because everything is really in it. Every energy, every place, object and body is in it, within it.